What's up, YouTube? I'm Mike. Today is a pretty special day. I'm a little ahead of myself. I may have to hold off on posting this video. In fact, now that I even started talking about this before the number actually clicks over, my channel will probably get deleted. Today I am at 9,998 subscribers, and for those of you in my audience who like to opine on my face, yes, I just woke up from a nap, so I'm looking more than a little bit rugged. I've been on a cut this week, and I hate to admit it, but I got to keep it real. The cut has been going good. I'm down 4 pounds already, although I know that's not body fat. But I came home this afternoon, and nobody was in my house, which is a very rare occasion. And clearly, I was psychologically feeling the lack of carbs more than I realized. And I got into my birthday cake and ate 2 large slices before anybody came home and went straight into either a carb or GH-induced coma. So, again, that's why I'm looking a little rough. Today, what we're talking about is the fact that my channel is about to hit 10,000 subscribers, which is a pretty cool milestone for any channel. Very few channels in all of YouTube get to this point. So that's a pretty cool thing. I really appreciate all of you guys who have stuck with me. Obviously, the subscriber number really doesn't mean a lot, you know? I mean, I've got 10,000 subscribers, and the vast majority of my videos don't get more than 1,500 or 2,000 views. So obviously, subscribers do not equate to views, but if you look at my total views on this channel since inception, I'm at 1.458 million, so just under 1.5 million views, which is really cool. I really appreciate all you guys who continue to tolerate my antics and crazy personality, which is in fact what I want to talk about today. I want to kind of try to pay it back. This is not the first time that I've attempted to do this and met with resistance, but maybe if I frame it in this particular way, more of you viewers will transition from viewers or consumers to creators. So what we're talking about today is how to attain immortality. A lot of people think this is something that comes after death. You know, whatever it is that you believe in. Unfortunately, I don't believe in an afterlife. So the only way for me to attain immortality is in the here and now. But whatever you believe, that's really not relevant to this video, because in my estimation, a type of immortality is within the reach of all of us. So let me go to the dark side real quick to help create, you know, to put this into perspective. 3 very important people in my life died before as usual. My brother died. One of my good friends died in Baghdad, and another good friend of mine died in county jail. And when someone dies, when someone leaves your life, they're no longer there to make memories with you. And all we really have in our lives are our memories. One of the things that's been really difficult, I shouldn't say really difficult, but it's just kind of sad and unfortunate, is that, you know, my wife and my son and my daughter and I, we just got through having this, for my wife and I, this enormous box checking adventure for about 2.5 years. We traveled all over the country, went to Florida multiple times, all over the southeast coast of the United States, to pretty much we went to every major city in Florida and pretty much every major city along the coastline. And then we traveled all over the West to 9 or 10 national parks, state parks, just about everything you can see, man. We tried to get it done in a short period of time when we were living off of our retirement post COVID. And so, you know, we made a tremendous amount of memories that are very precious to my wife and I. But my daughter was, you know, 3.5, 4 years old at the time, and she has no memory of it. The vast majority of the things that we did on that really amazing trip, she is not going to have any memory of. The only thing that she will have for the rest of her life to try to have any kind of connection to those events are the pictures and videos that we shot along the way. And that's one of the things that is so unique about the modern world that we live in, is that, you know, there's a camera on every corner and in everyone's hand at all times. And it really blows me away when I go onto Instagram and I get, you know, people following me on Instagram all the time because of my social media content. And sometimes, like, usually I just see new followers. Occasionally I'll look at the people who follow me, and the overwhelming majority have either little to no content, or their feeds are locked. They're private. Very, very, very few people, the tiniest minority of people, that's not a good statement, tiny minority, the overwhelming majority of the people in my audience do not make YouTube content. And so the thing that is so what was the word I'm looking for? Tragic. The thing that is so tragic about that is that, in my estimation, when you refuse to expose yourself to the world, when you refuse to share yourself with strangers the way I have chosen to do, in a lot of ways you give up your immortality. If I drop dead sitting here in front of this camera right now making this video, the 500 some odd videos that I have on YouTube, all the pictures on social media, all of those things will live on behind me. And so the lives that I've affected in whatever way, whether I've made you, you know, rage quit YouTube because I said something that made you completely mental, if you only watch me because you want to see my face get fatter and fatter and puffier and puffier, if you're just waiting for me to tear a bicep off the tendon, if you're a hate watcher, if I happen to be somebody who changed your life in a positive way, got you to try Trenbolone, for example, convinced you to go on your first cycle, convinced you to get on TRT, if I had some kind of effect on your life, then in that way, I live on forever in the effect that I had on you. So many people in this world have this tiny shadow. They cast a shadow on very, very few people. They go to work every day. They talk to their coworkers a little bit. In my experience, especially at my new job, it's crazy. Like, it's like a ghost town. When I go to the office, it's like no one down there has any personality at all. No one's talking. No one's sharing themselves in any way. And I think that this is something that's becoming more and more commonplace in the world we live in, especially in the workplace, because everybody's scared to get in trouble. Nobody wants to say anything that might offend somebody else, or that might, they don't want to share a political view or a sexual persuasion or whatever, because they're afraid of getting canceled. They're afraid of the fallout. And so that's the thing that I have chosen not to allow to control my life. I have been in front of this camera for the last 3 to 4 years, and honestly, this is my second attempt at YouTube. So I'm going to talk about this in a minute, but what I'm considering doing is I have all of the videos that I shot on my previous YouTube channel. I'm thinking about reposting them here just so you guys can see the stark difference in the guy that I am today and the guy that I was 10 years ago, and the commonalities. Because a lot of that guy who spent all of his time talking about militant atheism and why religion was the greatest evil the world had ever faced, a lot of that personality is still in me today. But the body, for sure, is massively different. And so I think it's another really intimate backstage view into the person that I truly am. Because I have chosen to share every bit of myself on this camera, the good, the bad, the ugly. I've let you guys into my personal life, into the interactions I have with my children, into the interactions that I have with my wife, the good, the bad, the ugly, my job, struggles. I've let you guys follow me along in our pipe dream ideas about living in tents and living in RVs and traveling long term. Basically, everything that's just coming into my world, I'm just letting it flow right out into this camera. I've talked about my struggles with addiction. You guys have seen all of the stories about me going to prison, about living on the street. All of these experiences that I've had in my life, I have chosen to put out into the world in this extremely, extremely public way. And I've pulled zero punches in doing that. And because of that, thousands and tens of like my video on Trenbolone, my video on what it's like to run a 500 milligram cycle, both of those videos have over 80,000 views. 80,000 people have watched me talk about my experiences in life. And so the reach that I've had in this tiny little corner of the world, and I understand that, like, yes, there's people who are massively bigger than me. It's not about how big you are. The point I'm trying to make is that each and every one of us has the opportunity to do what I'm doing. And there should be no cost to it. I clearly have not had to pay the price for my honesty. The one thing that seems to be the uniting factor in my entire audience, when I made a video the other day, like, talking about these are all the negative things about me. Why does anyone value my opinion? Why do you guys continue to listen to me talk about anything? From the haters to the biggest fans, the universal answer was because I'm fucking real. Because I'm real, because I don't sugarcoat things, I don't hide, duck, dive, I don't try to put lipstick on a pig, I don't pretend to be somebody I'm not. I'm just raw and unhinged for everybody to see and pass judgment on. Because my attitude in life has always been, I'm going to be who I am. And then you can choose whether or not you can live with that. You can choose to accept me. But there's no person on earth that I have ever met in my life that was worth me trying to be somebody I'm not to make them happy. That is not living life. That is surviving. That is playing somebody else's sick and twisted game. I refuse to do it. I will be homeless on the street, begging and panhandling for money long before I will ever sell out myself. And that's one of the things I've said a million times on this channel. You're not going to see me hawking testosterone. Okay, I'm not going to make videos with some stupid cookbook just to make the maximum number of dollars that I can make. When I try to make more money on here, I go in the opposite direction. I charge $25 so that you can hear me talk about all of the shit they don't want me to talk about and get paid the normal way. The other guys sell out. They refuse to take any real position on anything that matters. They just try to appease the maximum number of people. And that kind of hiding is disgusting to me. So I would just like to, in this video, say two things. Thank you again to everyone who's allowed me to run my mouth on this camera for the past 3 or 4 or 5 years. I don't know exactly how long it's been now. I could look it up, but it doesn't matter. And I would once again like to encourage all of you. If you are watching me right now, then you have a YouTube channel. I am begging you, even if you never put the content out in public, record videos, use your cell phone camera, buy a decent camera, whatever camera and microphone you can get. Just record yourself talking to it. The next time you want to talk to a buddy about a breakup, or you want to ask somebody for advice, or you're concerned, or you're confused, you want to go to therapy, you want to go out with the boys, you want to go out with the girls, you want to talk to your wife, next time you have some shit going on in your world, just grab your camera and start talking. Just see what flows out. Just be honest. Just talk to yourself on that screen. And when you're done talking, upload it to YouTube and just set it to private. Set it to unlisted. You never have to share it with anyone. But if you upload it, if you store it somewhere up there in the cloud with YouTube, on Instagram, on a NAS, buy a NAS, buy your own personal storage device and store all your videos on your own computer. But make the content. If you put all of this content up onto your YouTube channel, one day out of the blue, you might just decide, I'm going to post that one and just see what happens. Who cares? If nobody ever watches your content, who cares? The point is not about making content that other people like. The point is about leaving something behind of yourself for your family, your friends, or somebody down the road to discover and enjoy. That was one of the craziest things that happened when I had my old YouTube channel. I did YouTube for like a couple of years. I don't know how long it was. And I had like 3,000 subscribers or something. I can't remember. It never got as big as this. And I quit making content, but I didn't take the channel down. I didn't touch it for like 4 years, 5 years. And when I decided to start making YouTube content again, I looked it up, and there was all of these people in the comment section of that channel begging and pleading for me to come back to making that content. These people I didn't even know existed. I hadn't made content in 3 to 5 years, but somewhere after the point that I stopped making content, it was still getting promoted on YouTube. They were still finding my content because they searched something or they watched a video and then my video popped up as the next possible video. I was affecting people's lives when I was basically dead and gone from YouTube. So you never know what you have to say today. You never know what experience you're coping with or dealing with. Something that you might be feeling right now, that you record on a camera and put on YouTube, might just be the thing that saves somebody's life. It might just be the one thing that keeps them from doing something horrible. It might be the thing that saves them from hurting somebody else. It might be the one thing that makes them feel a little less alone in the world. That's one of the things that's been happening to me that I couldn't even see coming. And that's the thing, you don't know the value of what you have to say until you've said it and you put it out there. When I started making the homeless videos, when I started talking about my experiences with drug addiction, I had no idea how many people were going to reach out to me and go, man, that was so refreshing to hear. I used to be just like you, or I am just like you now, or the number of people who share and experiences that I've had. And when you hear about that, it makes you feel less alone in the world. And it makes the person that you shared it with feel less alone in the world. That's one of the scariest, most toxic, horrible things that happens in our world today. It's been happening forever, I'm sure, but it's uniquely bad when the internet connects you to billions of people around the earth, and yet somehow you can still feel like you're the only person on the earth that has a certain feeling or a certain kink or a fetish or an addiction or a crazy thought or whatever. And there is nothing more balancing and calming and reassuring and reaffirming than when you say something crazy and somebody else goes, hey man, me too. Like, I'm just like that. I have that too. And you go, oh my God, I'm not the only one. And then you've connected with a person across thousands of miles. My content has affected people on every continent on this fucking planet. Every single continent, every country, somebody has watched a video of mine and either hated everything that I was saying, or were inspired by the experiments that I was running, or was driven to go out and make a change in their life. And that is immortality. My friends that are gone, Chad, Jason, who are gone, I don't have anything like this to remember them by. And every day that I get older, those memories that I do have become harder and harder to connect to. If I should drop dead one day, for better or worse, my kids will be able to see this crazy lunatic guy that was their father, who loved them and cared about them and lived his life his way and pushed they will know who I really was, because I have left this legacy behind for them like breadcrumbs in the night. It's like Hansel and Gretel. My kids will be able to follow along with experiences that I've had by watching my videos if they choose to do so at a later time. My great-grandchildren, who will almost certainly never meet me, if one day my daughter's daughter says, Mom, tell me about Grandpa. What kind of a guy was he? She can show her exactly who I was. That will help me to connect with the other thing that makes me immortal. A lot of people feel like the way to become immortal is by having children. My DNA that I passed on to my sons and my daughter will be passed on to their sons and daughters down the line. How cool would it be if you could look at a video made by your great-great-great-great-grandfather and see the similarities that you had with him, find traits in common ground, see the mannerisms that he passed down to you, or a worldview that you seem to have that no one else has. Maybe you had that in common with your great-great-great-great-grandfather. The ability that we have to connect with not only other people around the world, but with our future generations of our own bloodlines has never been this way in history. This is that we have technology now that can allow us to connect to generations that are 10 generations to come down the road. That is immortality. You are holding immortality in the palm of your hand every single time you pick up that cell phone. You spend so much time watching my content or Vigorous Steve's content. So many of you in my audience, I know how much time you spend consuming. You consume my content on Discord. You consume it on YouTube. You're consuming other people's content on social media all over the place. If you just spent 1/10 of the amount of time you spend consuming other people's content on producing content of your own, I promise you it will revolutionize your life. There is no greater therapy in the world. There is nothing better than being able to talk to a camera and then get feedback from real people who are like you. I could go spend thousands of dollars talking to a therapist that has no idea what it's like to run Test and Trent and Deca. They have no idea what it's like to do hot rails or live on the street or face 12 years in prison. They don't know what it's like to be in prison. They don't know what it's like to have ever been arrested. They have never had my experiences. There is very, very little a therapist can really help me accomplish. But when I make a video talking about overcoming addictions, talk about surviving prison, talk about the struggles of steroid abuse and bodybuilding and the aches and the pains and all the things that come along with it, and then I get to interact with other real people who have shared those experiences, that lifts you up and makes you a stronger, better, more complete human being. It is light years ahead of any therapy anybody could possibly offer you. And half the time I watch my own videos, there's betterhelp.com or BetterHelp, whatever it is. Go find a therapist today. F that. You are your own therapist. When I'm making these videos, I can see myself. I'm right there on the screen. I can look at myself talking. I can see what I look like when I'm talking. And when you make videos and then you watch those videos back, it helps you to grow as a person. I notice things about myself that I don't like. I notice certain things that I say that don't come off good. One day I made a video and I said, I just got back from getting a juthy chest pump, like ripping off C-bomb. And the second I said it, I was like, that didn't feel good. And there's like 2 or 3 people in the comment, they're like, bro, don't ever do that again. It's like, yeah, man, you guys are right. That's not what I want to do. You can discover yourself when you get to view what you look like. So many people have no idea what they look like. They don't know what they sound like. They don't know how. I didn't know for the longest time that I spit when I talk, like a lot, like a fucking lot. It's probably due to the fact that I can't feel these fake teeth. And so I routinely have to fucking clean my camera lens to handle this problem, which is really great to know, because for years before I started doing this, I couldn't figure out, like, every time I talked to people, they would always kind of like keep a distance. I just thought it was because I was really loud, which my wife says she thinks that's primarily what it is, that I talk really loud. But it may be because I have found out through cleaning my own camera lens that when I get animated and excited, I tend to spit when I talk. People may be like, damn, bro, back up. There's so many things that you can learn about yourself when you just sit down in front of a camera and pour out everything that comes into your mind and then view it back later. The way I feel about this video, the first thing I'm going to do when I get through making this content is I'm going to play it back to make sure I didn't mistalk or say something stupid that I need to go in and edit out. Sometimes you'll see in my videos, I'll put a little word where I'll be like, fail, this is what I meant to say. I'll say, I was taking 7 milligrams of 8X per day. No. 1 milligram per day, 7 milligrams per week. Because some idiot's going to jump on me like, well, oh my God, bro, I don't think that's a very smart dose. No, it was a misspeak. When you talk as fast and as rapidly as I do, sometimes you misspeak. But it also cues you into the things you say, how you look, There's so much you can learn about yourself, even if you never share it with anyone else. And then if you ever get the nerve to put it out there, then you learn to handle other people's criticism. I am impenetrable. You guys have beat me to death over the last 4 to 5 years. The way and that alone will give you superhuman confidence. The trend helps, but I'm telling you right now, YouTube is a brutal place to exist. It doesn't matter what I do. When I first started YouTube, guys were constantly like, oh, you know, bro, you're not that big. You know, bro, you could have built that physique naturally. Oh, you know, bro, your chest is really undersized compared to your shoulders. Oh, you know, bro, well, you really need to work on your back. Oh, well, you know, bro, and now the only thing anybody says is, well, your face is really fat. It's like you can't talk about my chest anymore. You can't talk about my back. You can't talk about my shoulders. You can't talk about my abs. You can't say that I'm not really that big for my size. You can't say that I could only do this I could have done this naturally. All of the critiques that I used to get for the 4 prior years have all dwindled down to, your face doesn't look that good. It wouldn't matter if my face is getting ready to get way leaner because I'm cutting finally after like 45 weeks. When my face leans out, the hate will just flip-flop. I guarantee you, watch, you'll see in the comments, well, you know, bro, you were looking a lot fuller before. It's like, you can't win. You're either full and jacked, but your face is fat, or you're ripped and peeled, but you're kind of flat looking. That's what it'll be. You're looking kind of flat, bro. Your pecs aren't really popping like they used to. That's because you can't have it all at once. You can't be diced and peeled and jacked and lean and really full looking unless you're one of those assholes who uses synthol, which will never be me. So anyway, I just wanted to come on here real quick and make this video. I can hear that my dinner must be done. I wanted to once again to say thank you to everyone who has come with me this far. If you're just joining the channel, there is a lot left to behold because again, at the end of the day, like I've always said, this is my therapy. Admittedly, I do get caught up in ego. It is hard not to. I do get caught up making content, trying to appease this person or that person. I know a lot of you guys like the trend rants. Some of you like the homeless content. You may be getting ready to see a whole bunch of old 130-pound Mike ranting and raving about everything in the world to do with religion because I may start posting that content here if for no other reason to be even more honest and open and transparent than I have already been. You guys know exactly who I am today. Maybe it would be a good idea for you to know who I was 10 years ago because there's videos that we shot, my wife and I, that are like hour and a half long debates with other people online. And you can see exactly what she looked like, what I look like, where we came from. And that will really give you an appreciation of where we are today. So that content may start coming out in the playlist. I wanted to warn you because it will be shocking. If I post one of those videos, you'll be like, oh God, what is this? I look like Gollum or something from Lord of the Rings. I mean, like sucked up, tiny, emaciated, cracked out on Adderall. It's scary. But the fire is still inside me. So for all of you guys who think that this personality only comes from trend blown, that would be another really good reason for me to post that old content because you will see the same fire that I have now in me at 135 pounds soaking wet. So there you have it. Please, I'm begging with you. I'm begging you. I'm not going to beg you again. This is for you. Pick up your phone and talk to it. It is your friend. Record yourself talking to yourself. Air out all of your dirty laundry. Let it be your confessional. Pick your phone up and confess all of your deepest, darkest sins. Post it on YouTube. Private it so that no one sees it. And I guarantee you it will revolutionize the way you look at yourself, the way you look at other people around you, and your quality of life. I guarantee it. Try it and see what happens. Again, you don't have to publish it. And if you do and 10 people see it and you don't like it, then take it down. There's no risk. There is nothing but reward to be had. So finally, thank you to everyone who supported the channel in any way. There's a lot more content to come. As always, thank you for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.